The BMW 6 Series has always been a personal luxury vehicle. This is a 2010 BMW 650i. It has a V8, only 2 doors, and is a grand touring vehicle. This generation is known as the E63 6 Series. If it were the convertible, it'd be the E64, but this is the E63, and it ran from 2004 until 2010, with this being the final model year. Now, like I said, this does have a V8, but this was not the biggest engine that they put in it. This has the biggest engine offered in the 6 Series in the late 2000s. This has a 5-liter V10, and this is known as the M6. And so today we're going to be doing a comparison between the 650i and the M6. What are the differences? Obviously the engines are pretty different, but there are some other small things that I'd like to get into. So let's start off with what's under the hood. So we'll start off under the hood of the 650i. This is a 4.8-liter naturally aspirated V8, and it makes about 362 horsepower. However, it is not unproblematic. These do have issues, like the valve stem seals in the engine tend to go bad, which can be somewhat pricey. However, when we're talking about BMW engines in the 6 Series, this is actually not the problematic one. I wish that this only had valve stem seal issues. This is the 5-liter V10, and it's a very infamous motor from BMW because of its rod bearings. From the factory, the rod bearings are just designed poorly, and they wear very easily, very quickly, and it can be very catastrophic. Now, if you catch it and do the fix before it actually explodes, you'll save yourself a lot of time, money, and hassle. About $8,000 has gone into this engine just preventing it from killing itself. The throttle body actuators had to be replaced, the Vanos has needed replacement, and the rod bearings have been done on this particular motor. So if you're man enough and have a big enough wallet, you can fix this before the issues become big. But when driving these, you have to let them warm up to operating temperature before getting on them. It's the oil viscosity in the engine, and you basically have to treat these kind of like rotaries, so keep that in mind. Now, both of these, interestingly enough, are paired to 6-speed manual transmissions, and the M6 was only offered here in the United States in manual. Across the world, they only got automatic. We, of course, did get automatic here in the States as well, but you could only get the manual in the US, which is pretty interesting, which makes this car very, very rare. Now, even though the engine is problematic, it does sound pretty good. Take a listen. Interior, you'll actually find that the 650i is a little bit more luxurious. Now, a big reason for that is that this actually has a special leather package that covers the entire dash, center console, and pretty much every single bit of the interior in some type of leather. So it does have a nicer appeal. However, the 650i also has one thing that the M6 was never offered with: a sunroof. Because the M6 has a carbon fiber roof, they never offered it. So if you wanted the more luxurious Grand Tour, albeit with a couple fewer ponies, the 650i was actually kind of the better option. This is a nicer place to be. The M6's interior is surprisingly a little bit more Spartan. You have a lot more black materials in here. It's a lot more darker of an interior. This feels a lot less Grand Tour-y, or hey, let's drive across France. This feels like Autobahn and that's it. Now, there are some very small changes in here, like this has the older iDrive system and whatnot. And this does not have a sunroof, nor were any M6s offered with sunroofs because they all had the carbon fiber roof. So small little things there, but if you wanted the nicer, more pleasurable driving experience for day-to-day life, the 650i was actually the way to go. All right, so the 650i makes 362 horsepower, which is definitely not a small number. However, it is a smaller number than the M6. I also have 2 less cylinders, and this has 127,000 miles. these comparison races are not meant to show the original vehicle 0 to 60. I'm not trying to match what car and driver got. They're just comparing to one another. Thought I should put that out there. All right, so the M6 has a little bit more assembly required. So we hit the M button here on the steering wheel and our little tachometer comes up on the head-up display. We have to hit our MDM button and make sure that EDC is in too. The reason you have to do this is that this car actually has two tunes. A lower tune, which is about 390-ish horsepower, and then this tune that gives it the full 507. Go! Now! Now! Oh, man. This thing is squirrely! Oh, boy! That was like barely second gear here in the 650i. That was pretty impressive. I mean, it got right up there. I'm very curious to see how the V10 compares. Admittedly, I did the V8 first. Oh, this thing, it does not like that I have a heartbeat. Let's just put it that way. But boy, does it want me to have ears, because it sounds so good. I will say the 650i definitely kicked in traction control pretty much right away as soon as I started going, so we'll see if maybe that affects things. I feel like it was relatively close. I feel like the V10 is going to take it just for a second, but man. So there you have it, the E63 650i versus the M6. Now, they both have their issues, and they both have different qualities. If I wanted a nicer Grand Tour, I'd go with the 650i. If I wanted a, quite frankly, batshit crazy V10, I'd take the M6. And so I asked this question at the end of all my head-to-head comparisons. If you could have one of the vehicles in today's video dropped off at your house free of charge, which one would you pick? I would pick this, but I would ask for the maintenance plan included. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Tristan for letting me borrow both his 650i and his M6 for today's comparison video. There will be individual reviews of both of these vehicles on my channel, so if you'd like to go see more in depth what all the buttons are, things like that, you can go check that out. But until next time, take care, everybody.